Okay, so the first steps to using Access to manage databases. You'll find shared with you on Plato a CSV file, which is the same kind of file as what we open up in Excel, but we're going to import it into a database today. So you're looking for the red A tool down on your pin bar down here. It's the Access 2016 tool. And when you're going to open Access, you're just going to start from a blank desktop database. And it can create a file name if you wish for your exam test. Now, it will open up a database that is essentially empty. And what we first want to do is we want to populate that database by bringing in the external data from the CSV file that's shared with you on Plato, which you'll need to have downloaded. So I'm going to pop to external data and I'm going to get a text file. That's what the CSV file type is, it's a text file. So I'm going to go and browse for my CSV data file. Mine is currently still in my downloads, but yours should be in your IGCSE ICT folder. It's called JX11cars, and I'm going to press open. And I'm going to import the source into a new table in the current database. Continue. It's a delimited value, and that delimited value means that it is separated by commas, so that's correct. Press next. I can see that it's separated by commas. Now at this stage I can see that my column headings, okay, are actually appearing as part of the row, part of the data. So I want to make sure I tick this box here that says first row contains field names, and that will then elevate that first row to actually become the field headings. If I press next again, I can see the field name and the data type for each field. Now in your instructions, as you read it through, it says that all currency values must be in euros to 2 decimal places. Date sold field must be in the date format DDMMYYYY, and it gives you a list of all of the following data types. So you can edit data types here. VIN should be text, that's fine. Model should be text, that's fine. Power and engine, both text, that's fine. Price should be numeric currency, so I'm going to switch that into currency, and I'll worry about the format of that currency to euros with 2 decimal places in a minute. Colour is text. Discount applied is a numeric with 2 decimal places. Now at the moment that's called a double. I'll explain to you why in a minute. Just leave that as it is. It just means that simply there's 2 decimal places afterwards. Text for location. The date sold is date with time, that's fine. And then the last 2 fields are text and then Boolean for the yes, no column of whether or not the cars have been sold. So I'm going to change that to a yes, no field. Okay, and then I'm going to press next, and I'm going to choose my own primary key. Again, I'm looking at the instructions and it says, make sure you use these field names. The VIN is the vehicle identification number, and each car will have a different VIN. So that is the exam board hinting that I should use the VIN as the primary key, because if every car has a different VIN, then they are unique identifiers. So I'm going to set that as my primary key, and next, and I'm just going to call it, leave it called what it is, finish, and it will import my table. It asks me if I want to save the import steps. You can do, it's not massively important, it just means if you want to go back to the actual original import, you can see what you did there. Not massively problematic. So now I can see in my tables list on the left hand side I've got JXI cars, and if I double click on that table there, this is the view that I can see. I can see all of the data from my table. So I'm just going to finish off editing the data types. So for example, currently price is still as pounds and I want that to be euros. The date sold is okay, DDMMYYYY. But the sold, I'd like that to see yes or no rather than -1 or 0. So in my table, I'm just going to go to the Home tab and I'm going to view my my design view. So I can see the table in 2 ways: the data sheet, which is the actual table with the information in it, and the design view that shows me the layout of the table. So for example here, under price and currency, I can see what the format of the price is, and at the moment it's a default format, which is just pound. Well, if I want that to be euros, I need to change that in the format option here. And the same for the discount applied. If I want that to have 2 decimal places, rather than having decimal places set to auto, I'm going to set it to 2. And the last one there was the yes-no format of the sold column. I'm going to change that format so it's not appearing as 0 or -1, it's actually going to appear as true, yes, or on or off. In this case, it's going to appear as yes, no. Once I'm happy with all of that, it does say in my instructions to save a screenshot of the field names and data types used and place a copy of the screenshot into your evidence file. So I would want to take a print screen at this moment, which is the F11 tab up at the top of your table, of your keyboard, and paste that into your computer evidence file when you have time. So I'm going to close my cars table now. Save it and I'll say yes. Okay, and now when I open it back up again in the design view, I can see that I now have yes and no in my sold, and I can see that my price is set to euros with 2 decimal places, as is the discount applied. Now it tells me to insert the following 3 records. So I'm going to go right the way down to the bottom of my table, and I'm going to insert a new record here. And I get given the data for the record in the instructions. So I'm going to start off with the first one, which is 377C 15423018, and it is a micro Z car. The power engine is D and the power engine size is 1200. It's an €11,000 car in the colour red. There's currently no discount applied information, so I'm going to leave that as a 0. And the country of its location currently is Madrid. So I'm going to leave all of the rest the same. And I'm going to go on to add the next 2 records as well, following the instructions. So once you've done those 2, come back and check for video instruction number 2.